I think I'm a plotter. I think about the characters and the way I want them to be, and I go further along with the story and who they are and how it's going to pan out. So I'm a plotter. I need to have certain things around me. So I like to have 2 screens. I like the desk to be clean. I like to have good light. I don't like to work when it's dark, believe it or not. I don't like to work when I have to put the curtains and the lights on. I actually like to work in natural daylight. I don't know why, I prefer to. And I'm more focused when I do that. And a clean environment works for me. If it's messy, I have to do a bit of a tidy up before I can actually sit down and get into the process. Well, I am currently writing a book at the moment outside of ours, and there's one character in it that I've already identified as somebody that I would like to do a spin-off story for her. And she's the villain of the piece. So I think she deserves her own story to show who she really is in the plot. So yes, I do. I have one. Let me see. If I could get Maeve Binchy, actually now when I do the whole, you know that you do that thing where you go the Mind Valley and you go and you have your boardroom in heaven. Well, Maeve Binchy comes in on my boardroom in heaven. So I'd pick her brain, and I think I'd pick her brain because she had such a really brilliant way of authentically connecting with people. So she used to be able to like sit in a bus and overhear conversations, and she could weave that into the fabric of a story and use it, and it was really real. And I love that about how she writes. It energizes me. I like if I get up early in the morning. If I can get some writing in early in the morning, I'm set for the day. If I didn't have a day job and I could just write, I could probably write for the day. Well, I have these 8 girls, the sisterhood, from all over the world, and I really trust them because we've come together as a group of 9 women with no agenda, and we completely and utterly trust one another and support one another, and there's no filter and you can be vulnerable. And I know that any one of those girls will give me a really genuine answer and response, and it will come from the heart. I think about how they would feel in the moment. So I kind of role play, and in a lot of cases when I'm thinking about the other person, I'm thinking about how things panned out, or it's based on something that happened or a situation that I've been through. So I've been on the other side. So it's easier to actually walk through it and feel, well, that's how I felt. And that's why I dug my heels in on that, or that was my perception of that. So therefore that was my reality. And I try to actually be that character. At the moment, I'm doing a master's in coaching, and quite honestly, every single book I have is about coaching, one form of coaching or another. So I literally have about 7 of them stacked up beside the bed, and I'm just going through them. And I like physical books. I have the Kindle and it can read to me, and I can do the thing in the car, but I actually love the feel of turning the pages and that experience of reading a physical book. So at nighttime, so I do the reading at nighttime, I do the writing in the daylight. I've read Pride and Prejudice, I'd say about 4 times. I've read Far from the Madding Crowd about 3 times. There's a couple of them that are staples, that they're almost like comfort books that I would go back to. But it'd be probably from that era, those books. Yes, most definitely. I had a book idea in my head for 10 years. I didn't get it down. And I berated myself that I had let myself down, and actually finishing and getting this across the line has just given me a huge amount of self-confidence in myself that I can do it. So for the other book and the next book, if one person read them, it's the fact that I've completed it and it's for me. I know for sure it would be a black stallion. I've always identified with a black stallion horse as my power animal, and it's just strength, speed, agility, and freedom. I just always associate that with freedom, and writing gives you a huge amount of freedom. That's a good one. Who would I invite? Oprah Winfrey, Reese Witherspoon, and who else would I invite? I would probably invite, if I could, Tony Robbins. They'd be my three people. I think they'd be a good, interesting mix at the table. Again, when I do my boardroom thing that we've done in Mindvalley, Oprah Winfrey and Reese Witherspoon would be frequent visitors because they're very supportive. They give very good advice. The real empowerment piece to kind of kick your butt over the line to get things done. Actually, if I could add on to that, I'd probably have John and Missy if I could. I'd definitely have them for dinner. Definitely. I'd say they'd be a great couple to go to dinner with. That would be a really, really interesting evening.